And as the U.S.-Israel war with Iran enters day 8, let's take a quick recap of some of the latest developments that have been coming in from West Asia. Explosions have lit up the skies over western Tehran early Saturday as Israeli fighter jets carried out heavy strikes on Iranian capital. Iranian state media reported blasts in the city's western districts. Israel confirmed it had launched a broad-scale offensive on government sites in Tehran. Saudi Arabia says it has intercepted a ballistic missile fired at an airbase southeast of the capital, Riyadh, as Iran pressed attacks across the Gulf. The Saudi Defense Ministry posted on X that a ballistic missile launched towards Prince Sultan Air Base was intercepted and destroyed. And this is the second big Iranian strike on Saudi Arabia in the last 10 hours. Earlier, Saudi Arabia's Defense Ministry said it intercepted and destroyed a cruise missile near the central Al-Kharj area. U.S. President Donald Trump declared that the U.S. military campaign against Iran is progressing very well, insisting that only Tehran's unconditional surrender would end the escalating conflict. Speaking at the White House, Trump claimed Iran's army, navy, communications, and leadership have been largely destroyed. His remarks came as global oil prices surged amid fears of supply disruptions linked to the intensifying West Asia war. A U.S. Air Force C-5 Galaxy military transporter landed at RAF Fairford in southwest England as the West Asia conflict escalates. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer authorized American use of 2 British bases for what he described as a specific and limited defensive purpose after initially rejecting involvement in the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. Houthi supporters stage a rally in Sana'a in the Yemen, voicing solidarity with Iran and Lebanon as regional tensions rise. In a televised speech, the Iran-backed Houthi leader warned that his group was prepared to launch strikes at any moment, signaling a potential escalation in the conflict. All right, to discuss more, joining us from Australia, we have journalist and author Lynn O'Donnell. Thank you so much for taking out your time and joining us on the broadcast. Now, you have covered the 2001 invasion of Afghanistan and also drove Taliban from power, and the 2003 war in Iraq that had ended Saddam Hussein's rule. How are you analyzing this current conflict?
Well, hi, and thanks for having me. If we look at it in the historical context, both Iraq and Afghanistan wars, invasions, if you like, by the United States were preceded by huge and rapid buildup of ground forces that then invaded. We don't have that situation in Iran. It's mostly air, missiles and cyber attacks. And also Afghanistan and Iraq were 2 very weak governments at the time and were easily toppled. The strategy was different. In Afghanistan, it was to go in and dismantle al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban from power and then rebuild the nation. Iraq also get rid of Saddam, also a nation-building exercise. And nation-building has been specifically taken off the table, at least verbally, by the United States administration. They seem just to want to remove the leadership of the government of Iran, weaken, destabilize the military, the IRGC, and then, as they keep saying, as President Trump keeps saying, over to the people to complete regime change if that's what they want. So very different from the 2 earlier regional wars that we've seen this century.
But also we've kept on hearing from Trump of, he wants a say in who now becomes the next leader. Where does that stand, and how easy or hard is it for the U.S. to interfere and have a U.S.-backed or maybe a say in who leads Iran?
It's very difficult to know. There doesn't seem to be any real forward planning by the United States administration vis-a-vis what comes after the so-called decapitation or removal of the Iranian leadership. Let's get rid of the mullahs, and what comes next, nobody knows. So I think it's more rhetoric, especially what we're hearing from Donald Trump and from his Secretary of Defense / War, Pete Hegseth. There seems to be more bluster and rhetoric than forward planning at this stage. So I think it's impossible to know. He's said that Ayatollah Khamenei's son, who is being rumoured to take over once, or at least be announced as the next leader once Khamenei's funeral is done. He's called him a lightweight. Does he know? It's a very, very complex governmental system that is decentralised and has its own survival built in. So just changing the name at the top isn't going to be enough. And you know, especially when we're looking at an possibly elongated conflict here.